Today's recipe is another super simple one that can be made with a handful of ingredients you probably already have in your pantry. It's my take on a classic quesadilla recipe, and it's a tad bit healthier. It works great as a snack or even as a light lunch and pairs well with some of my homemade chunky salsa or guacamole. I'll leave a link to those recipes in the description box, but for now, let's get started. You'll need some chopped up garlic, red and green peppers, you could use yellow if you like, some sliced mushrooms, some chicken that I've cut into strips and marinated with olive oil, salt and pepper, shredded cheese. This works as the glue, so it's super important and you can't skip it. Some cayenne pepper, but if you don't have it, red chili powder works fine. Some cumin and coriander powder. Now traditionally you need tortilla wraps, and you can use them if you like. You can see how nice and big they are, but for me what I like to do to make it a tad bit healthier and also easier, I use leftover chapatis that are a day or two old. It's much lighter and I basically use them as leftovers instead of throwing them out. Now I'm making two versions, one vegetarian and obviously one with chicken since it was in my prep. So I'll start with the chicken. I add it to a non-stick pan, and since it's already got a teaspoon of olive oil and seasoning, I don't add anything extra, I just let it cook. To that I add my spices, the cumin and coriander as well as the cayenne, and I just cook it a little till it changes color. Then I add my garlic because I don't want it to burn by adding it earlier, and then I follow that by adding my chopped peppers and I cook it till the peppers soften a little and the chicken cooks, and this whole thing in total should take about say 6 to 7 minutes. Once it's all done, I transfer it to a plate and get started on my veg version. In a pan, add some oil and the sliced mushrooms. Now mushrooms tend to leach a lot of water, especially when you add salt to it, so I like to cook this on a high flame throughout. I add my garlic, chopped peppers and all the spices along with some salt and pepper. This should take about 5 to 6 minutes, but once it's done, just transfer it to a plate and we're ready to finally make our quesadillas. Now at this point you can eat these fillings on their own, you can put it on a pizza topping, add it to pasta, anything really, but it works best inside a quesadilla. Now I'm using the same pan because it's one less utensil that I have to wash, but of course you can use another. A non-stick is preferable and easier to use. I just wipe off all that extra grease and I'm good to go. On a very low flame, I add the chapati to the pan so it warms up slightly. You can add oil, but I don't think it's needed. Take some of your filling and layer it on one side because we will add the cheese on top and then fold over the other side to make a quesadilla like a crescent shape. Now I've added my cheese, but I realized later that I should have added a lot more, especially below the layer of filling, so don't be stingy with your cheese. Then I just carefully flip it over and press it down with my spatula so that the cheese melts with all the heat and seals the two sides shut. This might take a while, so be patient and just gently keep pressing till you know it's done, and then flip over to cook on the other side. Now with my second round I was smarter, so I put a layer of cheese first, then my mushroom mixture followed by another layer of cheese. Since it's not a high flame, I just gently use my hand to fold it across, and then once again I press it down with my spatula till it seals shut. You can see the cheese melt and ooze out. It happens, it's okay, don't panic. And then again just flip it over so it cooks on the other side, and then it's done. You could also just fill up the entire tortilla or chapati and then place another one on top to seal it together so you get one big quesadilla, but I find that difficult to flip over and eventually eat. So this is how I like it. I just cut it into quarters and serve it with all that cheese oozing out. It's such a hit. So there you go. That is my take on a quesadilla recipe. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to give this video a big like, leave me a comment. I'd love to know if you enjoyed it or if you have a favorite flavor, and don't forget to subscribe.